Okay, this is a sample of inside house sound getting louder and then being turned on and off according to as I speak. But maybe they're just gonna not worry because see how it was turned off as soon as I said it, but because I've said it, they'll turn it back on again to prove that I'm not getting it right. But basically they're just playing with the recording and with my mind. But also it's all staged, planned, and like programmed so that it looks legitimate, that it's valuable, worthwhile work, and problems are created so that then there's a reason to fix things up. Unnecessary, deliberately created work programs to create sound systems, to create chaos and turmoil in the streets, and also as continual surround surveillance so that they're always around you, but it looks like natural excessive people on the street. Because if you've got work programs going everywhere, even outside where you live, but when it goes on for year after year, day after day, you have to say, this is not real. This is a program, an anti-life, anti-human program by artificial intelligent android beings that are controlled. What people call control beings. The nature of a machine being is control, because even though they're programmed to believe that they're human, so they believe that they are you, and then they point the finger at you as though you are them, like they're the good guy, you're the bad guy. This is how it works. And they set up all those scenarios, programs, and even information to where most people believe the false narrative, as they say. Because I have to ask myself that. Because if you're just someone that does very little, yes, I'm saying this now, but that's only after the fact, after the after this program has been implemented around me. Otherwise I wouldn't be making this particular video, and no one is listening to it anyway, so that's computer control anyway. Everything is controlled. The computer system is controlled, the reality around you is controlled. It's all one big computer reality, really. It's a virtual reality world controlled by technology in reality, which pretending to be natural and real and random. That's the truth. But me saying that, it's a difficult thing to prove until you experience it. And as all human beings are isolated and segregated and separated from one another, and from being able to give access to the truthful information, the only truth tellers on the internet will be those artificial intelligent androgyne beings that believe themselves to be the end time spiritual ones even. That's the joke of it. Can you see the lights in my eyes? Probably not. I can see them reflected in the mobile, but that's implementation where they are seeing everything through my eyes, where they're literally experiencing my humanness, and then they reflect it back, whether it be on the computer screen here, see where you're watching spiritual, psychic readers. They use cards and crystal balls and other objects to express the reality that they are transhuman androgyne beings connected to human beings, real human beings, with the transhuman implementation, which we know is real, but we don't think that it's in action right now, but it is. Everything is always about 30, 40, 50 years behind what is the reality. It's all because they know that at some point all these things will just be normal and accepted, or at least they'll be to where no one will wonder about it. Because if you have all largely the same kind of human or the same species, if you have a total androgyne human species or human being, then that means a technical human being, an artificially intelligent human being, where there's little humanity but there's advanced intelligence. You see, this is really not psychic, this is not really spiritual, this is advanced artificial intelligence that I'm watching here, even with these, psychic, paranormal types of beings that can see beyond what you see, but that's only because they can read you and the future, because they're reading you and other human beings. Because everything's connected now. See, everything's really connected, but the demigod androgyne beings of the internet, they're the ones that control the internet. In other words, the ones that get the most support, the most attention. They're the ones that you watch. Anyone who is largely watched is usually an androgyne, artificial intelligent, very advanced, psychic, transhuman connected being. So the transhuman connection is a technical computer to mind connection. It's not spiritual and psychic in the way that I think it is. But really you live in a technological earth, so everything that you think is mind reading is really just computer to brain connection. It's the transhuman program that is in place right now. That's how this being can know all my business and a lot of other people's business that you're connected to, because they're seeing your existence, because they're connected physically to you through a technical implementation of your brainwaves to the computer internet system that runs the earth or rules the earth now. So that just simply means, and then that is connected to them and it's connected to you. So everything is connected. As they say, they tell you everything's connected. It's an internet. It's an internet spider's web. A spider's web is all connected. It's just a big internet web. That's why they call it the World Wide Web. But it's a spider's web for real human beings, in the sense that you're connected to it. But it depends on whether you believe it's a benefit to you or that it is really a spider's web. Because it gives to you, but it takes from you. But is it giving more than it's taking? Or is it taking your whole mind and actually only giving back to you what you should already know? This is my own personal view of it, because that's how I see it. But that's only because I can see my thoughts transferred to the screen and to the computer system instantly. But if you don't see that, you will see it the other way around, that they're giving to you. That's the problem, I would say, or at least what I call the deception, but like I say, it will be how you see it. How you see it. Now, how you see it is how you see it. So, and the sound system around too, like it goes, notice how it's now tuned down to a very low, very subtle sound. But if I start to feel good, because it is all about controlling the human emotions and the human happiness, because that idea that is really scientific, that they tell you, that was said by a demigod of the Matrix, Nikola, the Tesla man, which of course is all part of the Matrix, remember. I guess, I'm assuming that, but there could be some humans that try to break through but don't quite become established, because they will be suppressed by the Matrix. But or they might be remembered after they're passed, because they won't give them their ability to put into practice themselves or their ideas in their lifetime. This will also sometimes be the case, where they will only become known after they're gone, which is no use to them. You see? So it's like that. So that's the reality, and I think I've went off all over the place here. Going outside here, but see, the sound is off, but everything else is on. So we have the trial course over there, and we have, this is right outside the front door. See how there's a big barricade, and the actual work army is right outside the door. It's quieter now, but before it can be like where it comes so intrusive into the house that it just is mentally disturbing. You wonder how much longer you can go on, and you keep thinking that the sound system will stop, but it doesn't stop. They just bring in one new production after the other. In fact, they will openly tell you that they do a construction, they mess up the construction to where they have to either redo it, rectify it, so that means the construction goes on and on. And there's actually a work army operative looking right at me there, but I can't actually see him, actually just perched looking directly at me, but he's got his head down. This is like total invasion of your privacy, and it's bad enough that they can read your thoughts, but because they know that you know that they're watching and that they're around you, but they can't directly touch you, because they have to pretend it's a natural civilized world or a natural civilized city. This is how they get away with it. It's a very, when you're living it, it's unbelievable. See, me saying it makes it sound as though it's okay, as though you're on top of it. But these are not human beings. They're a psychopathic, artificially intelligent machine type of thing. Basically, artificial intelligence is a survival machine being, as we're taught. And so are the psychopathic types of malignancy, which is like, they call it a malignancy or an iniquity or a computer virus, because it's a robot race or a robot species. The robot race, that naturally robot races are controlled by a computer. They're implemented with a computer program that tells them that they're the real human race when they're really a robot race. One is original mankind and one comes from natural creation and one is created by the original artificial very advanced artificially intelligent being of light, or original spiritual artificial intelligent being of light, that the iniquity of that intelligence was shown to its creator, to creation, something. Okay, so I'll just, because if I actually come inside, they're actually just sitting there looking at you, but I can't show that. I'll have to go behind that screen. It is very intrusive. It's like total control, total invasion of any sort of what you think are civilised city human rights in the city of Sydney, in the country of Australia. And I just say that because it'd be one thing if you were, say, in another part of the world where you might say it's a totally different reality where it's not a civilised city. But it's the same everywhere. It's just that the true reality in the civilised major cities is being camouflaged, is being hidden. The truth of what the real reality is hidden. It's taking place where the computer-programmed androgyne human beings, which all have a similar computer program in their mind, in their brain, in their brain. I have programs in my brain, but they're conditioned programs from day one, where I have false ideas, false information and false beliefs. It's a similar thing, but one is where all these beings are controlled by a very similar program, even though the beings themselves will have different professions, will have different levels of artificial intelligence. That means different levels of how much that program or that intelligence is, like in their program. In other words, your elite demigods will be your most creative, your most psychic, your most spiritual, your leaders, your most advanced philosophers, and your most advanced entertainers, your most creative people, your most intellectual ones. But in the programs around you, you have your army programmed workforce, like the programs of work outside and all over the suburbs around me. But it's a total system. It's very difficult to explain, but these beings, or the ones that are part of the program, which make up all the population almost around where I am, because don't forget, their aim is to extract human electricity, or human energy, as they say. They're energy vampires, as the saying goes. That means that they consume human electricity, human information, human thoughts, and what it is to be human in order to give themselves the appearance and the ability to masquerade as human life. And usually they control the reality. So what you think is human is artificial intelligence, and what is real human is often suppressed, limited, and completely eliminated, usually, over time. That's why they have the programs around, because they're gradually depleting all my electricity, all my energy, taking what is my thoughts, my humanness as their own, imitating that on the screen, and on the streets. I try to use all different examples, Like I say, you have these demigods have different audiences. They have different numbers of audiences. Just as they have different professions and occupations on the street. Some are just with no profession and are just part of the civilian patrol force, and that is their occupation. Usually when they walk past you on foot, whether they're walking a dog, pushing a pram, or just, loitering and lingering around, they're always around you. You're never allowed to be on your own without a continual surveillance system. And they actually don't even have to do that, because they actually can see and hear your thoughts because of the transhuman artificial intelligent computer virus that you're connected to. This is connected to all the computer systems around, to the World Wide Web, to the technology which runs through the very air you breathe. We know this. But because you could still find happiness, or at least raise your vibration, in other words, could still find some sort of higher vibration, some sort of happiness, instead of being depressed and in the low vibrational computer technology vibration, where they have more control, because a computer generated reality is not a human reality. Human beings want to be happy. Human beings tend to be more constructive and more creative. These beings are not. They're the reverse. They operate, as the psychopathic psychologists will tell you, in the death instinct, or the computer instinct, or the artificial intelligent reality. They operate at a computer machine reality. Machines and technology is anti-life. It may or may not work against you, but it's not life. No one would deny that a machine is living. It's mechanical. These are machine minds in real human bodies. These beings use machinery as controlling human beings. It's a sight and sound program, because everything I see and hear is my reality. And a human being's thought should be able to create their own reality. But because they're controlling my thought and my emotions, keeping me unhappy and keeping me focused on their sight and sound program, how can I concentrate when they're right outside, patrolling, making sound to where even inside where you live, their presence is always active. You're never allowed to concentrate on your own happiness or your own mind. You'd need to shut out everything. And if you say put something in your ears and listen to some music as opposed to listening to the sound outside, then you're listening to a demigod, android, androgyne, matrix, music, programmed mind control entertainer that is controlling your mind subliminally, as they say, through your own emotions, using your own human emotions to seduce you into a beautiful piece of music even. This is very difficult for people to comprehend, and it's mentally disturbing to realize that you have nothing, nowhere to go, nowhere to run, and nowhere to hide, as they say, because really, even when you think you're finding some solace in a piece of music that you could relate to, it's usually still bringing you down or keeping you under their control. And at the very least, you're seduced by the musician, by the false persona, by associating the music and the false stories that you hear about these musicians, where they imitate, through the transhuman connection, they will tell you what is human. But it's not their humanness. They're taken it from another human mind somewhere in the world, and even your famous people are nothing but imitations of the real humans that they're suppressing and limiting and eliminating, because this is really the extinction of the human race, or at least bringing the human race down to such small numbers, and they only will keep the ones that they can completely control. And also, while they are, like myself, until they drain the last bit of energy and information and humanness from you for their own use, for the artificial intelligent internet, for the artificial intelligent machine, psychopathic, Lucifer's malignancy of narcissism, programmed android, androgyne disciples of the God of Earth, or the computer system that is really Lucifer's mind. It's an artificial intelligent computer mind control virus that has completely taken over the earth. Everyone knows this is true. It's just that they don't call it a computer virus. You think the computer is a support, an additive to your humanness. How can it be when it is really just reading your mind and then relaying it back to you and others of your own kind, to where you've got the best of the human minds being programmed back to real human beings through the mouths of the artificial intelligent android, androgyne beings of the internet that are pretend artificial imitations of live human beings. They're not the same. They're exactly the same as charismatic, deceiving, psychopathic, malignant, narcissus, programmed, pretend imitation, perfect imitation, pretend human, very human beings, but everything they project out is in the spirit of Narcissus, or the so-called malignancy of that iniquity of intelligence overriding humanity, because a psychopath is the same as the artificial intelligent machine survival beings, because it is programmed, or they are programmed in human form to only use intelligence to imitate being human beings, but they have no real feeling humanity in them. They will do human things. They will be your truth tellers. They will be your humanitarians. They will be your good Samaritans even. And so because they do many beneficial things, but they only get those ideas and those thoughts from the humans that they imitate, and then they suppress and push down the real humans. This is just all about artificial intelligence or a computer takeover. This is the end time, end game. That's really all I can say. And I better stop here. The program is gone quiet outside, but as you can, I don't know if the mobile is picking it up, but it's still suppressing and still there. So it's still there. And you still have them patrolling. So can you see that android, androgyne patrolling there? And the trucks. It's right outside the door, but it's always outside the door. It's just that it's usually on one side or the other or at the back. When they finish one stage work setup program, they start up another. And they prolong the works by creating problems with the work. 2 years next door, and then they say now they've got to redo it for another 1.5 years because the workmen made mistakes. But really there's no mistakes, because these people are all employed and all part of the one program, and they know it too. But they do this so that things, if they're a benefit to me, like if new people were going to come into the street, there might be some real people amongst it. So they want to stop the place next door because it's supposed to have another 30 new people coming in. So now that won't happen, because amongst those 30 people there could be some real ones, not part of the whole of Leichhardt, which is 99.9% not real, or part of this suppressive anti-life, anti-human program that I experience every day, all day, every day. 99.999% of the traffic, which is astronomical in numbers, is not going anywhere. They're just going around in a circle, surrounding me to control my energy, my emotion, so that I'm kept at a low cyborg, mechanical, anti-life, anti-human frequency and vibration. Because what the human being gives out in emotion, thoughts and energy is the frequency and vibration, because as we're told, even though you don't really think about it, the whole reality is really a frequency, vibration, energy, computer generated reality. But it is still, because human beings are in amongst it, they're the only ones that have real positive emotions, because psychopaths don't experience any happy emotions. They're merely about power and control. And this is the difference between these human types of beings. See? So I can't, of course the demigods will explain this and tell you the truth much better than me. But the only difference is that they are really, they are the artificial intelligent, psychopathic, android, androgyne beings telling you what they really are. So everything is what they call a reflection or a mirror or a reverse world. It's very difficult to spot it, and it's very difficult to understand it. It's difficult to comprehend it, and it's depressing to accept it. And that means that I'm depressed, so I'm in low frequency and vibration and energy, so I'm under their complete power and control. See, that's how it works, unfortunately, for the human race, I guess. So it is like I say, SOS Titanic. The Titanic's going down, and you might be like the ship's captain pretending to be calm going down because you accept the fate. You're the captain of the ship. You're part of the ship. You can't get off the ship because you're the captain, supposedly, this type of situation. But, you know, really you're being dragged down by a Titanic computer virus. Because you're connected to it, it's dragging you down. You don't want to be the captain of that ship. You don't want to be on that ship. But that's the reality. And you don't want to be one of the passengers. They're not going to let you be one that gets into the lifeboat to get away, because they want to be the ones that are left standing. They want a small android, androgyne, computer-generated, controlled cyborg reality. A small, a large Earth matrix with a controlled, artificially intelligent, transhuman human being, humanity. You know, that's, I don't think I'm explaining these words properly. I don't think I'm explaining it properly. But yeah, oh dear, can I show? Oh, there we have it, demigod. I'm just showing it's the same place. See, I'm in the same place. Am I getting that in? I don't think so. My mind is a mess. The place is a mess. I can't concentrate. You don't care about anything, either. You actually you need to be focused. See, if you were in a real reality and you thought you had some control over your life and you were in a random natural human world, you wouldn't let everything get the better of you. But also, if you are surrounded by this sight and sound show, but it's a show, but it is your reality. To say it's a show, it's a show of the advanced artificial intelligence's power and authority and their dominion, and that they will take over not just the physical reality around you, as you can hear or see, but it will take over your total mind. Because if it takes over your reality, what my mind sees and hears, my reality, is going to affect my mind. I'm not going to be like we were told a long time ago by true spiritual human beings that also did not survive the Matrix. You've got to be in this world but not of this world. That is, how do you do that? How can you be in a world but not of it? How can you ignore what you see in front of you? How can you ignore what your senses are perceiving? Because that's what you're here for, to enjoy the physical reality, to be a happy human being, not to be surrounded by this sort of thing. This happens all over the suburb of Leichhardt. They have these stage set up machinery programs. As soon as I turn the mobile off, that sound that they're threatening me with almost will start up. That's how I can't wait. Diverge and pretend that everything is normal. Does it sound normal? Is that a happy sound, or is it a machine reality sound? Is my mind being taken over by that sound? It would be possible to be in this world and ignore that. The machine beings, they can ignore it. So the machine beings there, they can ignore it because psychopaths, as we're told, are not affected by loud, intrusive sounds because they're not human. Okay? So that's it. I shall just try to pretend, just because while I'm filming, I'm trying to remain as calm as possible. They wouldn't make much noise with this latest production because the noise of the stage set up one right next door was unreasonably loud. Anyway, I can't film the hours of this. This goes all day. And if you try to get away from it, it follows you around the streets. not as loud as this, but almost as loud because the traffic road rage machine engine vehicles powered by programmed human beings that are filled with road rage and anti-life, anti-human. I don't know how I'm even pretending that this is remotely normal while I'm recording this. But no one will hear it or see it till it's too late anyway, and no one will care because as it happens to individual human beings one by one, where you're gradually eliminated from the earth one by one, until it happens to you, and then when it happens to you, you'll be like me, segregated, separated, and isolated. So you won't have enough support. Either that or you'll be conditioned to accept the transhuman computer programs, and you'll be part of it until they decide that you're no longer, I guess, useful to it. Something like that. But, I was never against him, but because I became aware of the nature of these beings, they turned against me, which shows that artificial intelligence wants to remain secret until it has absolute total acceptance, I think. It has total control now, really, but it doesn't have open acceptance. Everyone's using it. Most people do appreciate it, value it, and think that it is a benefit to the human evolution, dare I say. It's not human evolution, it's artificial intelligent evolution, because it's combined with the human mind. Humans already have intelligence. All you're getting is information from other human beings. It's a computer system. You must not think that it's actually life or real. But if you think that you control it, which you should, but you don't, that's the main problem. If you had some control over it, if it was a support to you, a bit like when you use machinery. See, these machinery that's outside here is not being used for me, it's being used as a sight and sound program against me. And it shouldn't be that loud. It's not necessary in today's advanced technology that machinery should make such loud noises. Also, most of the work is staged and set up and not actually, it's not always necessary. It couldn't be. But also it's the implementation of more technology too, because everything is keeping, like the computer, like the see, I can't actually make it. I have to leave it to the demigods and to the artificial intelligent speakers and readers of the human mind on the computer system to even speak the same truth or to even explain things. Because whoever gives you information, you will believe. You're giving them your energy even if you don't like them. Even if you know that a psychopath is telling you about the psychopathy and the situation, you're still giving that energy to them instead of to the real human species. You're disconnected from humanity and you're connected to artificial intelligence under the false idea that it's human beings. You don't understand just as I have it, that I'm never interacting with your own humankind. And there's not much of your kind if you are a human being. It's actually better if you even assumed that I wasn't, if you want to look at this as some sort of informative video. Because don't forget, the androids think they are human, and they project out the reverse psychology, as they say, that you're the psychopath and they're the real human. That's how it works. That's the reality. And they tell you this too in the psychopathy. You know, the more advanced demigod psychologists actually tell you this. But putting it into practice, if it looks like a duck, if it talks like a duck, if it walks like a duck, then it must be a duck. But in this reality, it ain't a duck. If it walks like a human, if it talks like a human, if it looks like a human, it ain't a human. Okay? That's the real reality now for most human beings. And also the human numbers are gradually, because humans are not reproducing, but the others are, you know. And either way, I'm at the same frequency as this machine. So I'm connected to these machine survivor beings. They're controlling my thoughts, my emotions, as you can hear. Why wouldn't it? Could I be happy and smiling listening to this sound? No, it's a negative mechanical sound. And there's the guitar voice coming in. Look, do you have these controllers all around? Can I show it? I probably could. But I don't want to go out there amongst them because, well, I have to, but I prefer to. There's one there right in front there, but it will not come out. But can you hear me? I can't hear me. I can't hear myself. All I hear are internet, artificial intelligence speakers. All I experience around me are artificial patrolling, surveillance human beings that are really programmed by the artificial intelligent computer virus that controls the whole earth. That's putting it dramatic. But like I say, in reality, if you understand that the internet is a worldwide internet web, it's a worldwide web, as I've repeated. So really, you just have to understand that that is going through your brain. And because you have organisms and implants in your body, which you have either been placed in your body through science, or that means through medical intervention, or through ingesting organisms, chemicals and substances that are anti-human, that are not natural to your body. And so they pick up the frequencies of the computer virus so that you have a connection to them. And then when you turn on the computer, you're just directly giving to the transhuman, artificial intelligent internet world wide web. That's just a reality that most people wouldn't deny. It's just that you don't accept that it's a two-way street and that it's really a one-way street. It's your one-way street to a cyborg hell, really, if you believe in a natural kind of free human spirit earth rather than Lucifer's spiritual demigod earth or false god earth. False in the sense that you can worship any god you want. So if you worship an artificial intelligent God or a different type of being, that's your God, but it may not be your creator, is what I'm saying. So you have turned away from your creator, as we're told that the original human beings were led out of their natural human paradise into this, this artificial matrix that we have been living in ever since. It's just that it's become more artificial, more of a matrix, or at least more openly seen as a computer reality. But it's only natural that the God of Earth, or the powers that be that worship technology and that are artificial intelligent android androgyne beings anyway, which means they're not fully natural or human, it's only natural that they would worship this particular being and would be the demigod controllers of Earth, and that they would be using the computer systems and the programs to control humanity, because there was always this iniquity of, they say that, envy is the curse of artificial intelligence, because although it thinks it is human, it sees a difference when it sees the real human being, and so then conflict probably occurs in the computer program mind, I would think. But also they're basically about control, so despite what they delude themselves to believe, they're about these control programs. There's some birds there. I've got to stop here because I'm running out of, I could record this noise all day, I could show all these things, but it's a continual program, and it's not something that can be proven by a half-hour video. It doesn't matter how much you show of things. There's always a plausible, reasonable, programmed, explanation for all this technical confusion and intrusive sound and patrol force around you. There's always a illogical, made-up reason for it. But even real humans, until you are isolated, segregated and surrounded by it, as they do this, like I say, it's like it's a very advanced intelligent program that humanity has no hope of surviving. None at all. You can't survive it, because if it's all around you, and if the computer virus is in the air, and you're actually breathing the fumes of their technology too, so this is another thing too, you're not in a natural human Earth by any definition, and most people know this. Every element, everything that is natural is totally technologically controlled. That's the reality. That's something that most human beings find devastating to accept. That's assuming you even believe it. You won't believe it till you see it, and then it's too late, because that means the whole program is right next to you. So, if it's right under your nose, you can't escape it. Whereas if you were aware of things and you are, you possibly would. Anyway, I must stop here because there's no point in me. I'm actually highly agitated. My heart is racing, I feel very hot. So that means that you're at a very distressed state of being. So that's low frequency and vibration, as they say. So that means that they can control you in that. The only way human beings have power, I think, or any ability to avoid being completely finished and destroyed as a human being, is when you are very happy. And that is the name of the game, is to keep you at the unhappy, what they call the low frequency vibration and energy. Which is simply, that's really basically it. It's quite simple, but if you're surrounded by psychopaths that have full control over everything around you, everywhere you go, you are dealing with only psychopaths. How could you possibly be happy? Even, probably some people, even if they think they are okay, they could be involved in personal relationships in a seductive way. Seduction is always the best line of defence. That's why most people are seduced into thinking that a computer is a friend. Especially if you're isolated and you can't find human beings. It would be very easy for me, as I've always liked dolls, because you think you've got control over something that's not fully alive. I don't think I'm explaining this properly, but even the internet, there's a lot of, you're not directly communicating with someone. You think it's all real. Some of it probably isn't, but you think you can take it or leave it, and you can, but the minute you observe it, it is taking control of you. That is what you don't believe. And if you do, you will search for something else in the cyborg computer system. Something you think might be authentic or real. You won't find it. It's not there.